Seattle Connected, the show that connects you, yes, you, with entrepreneurs, business people, movers and shakers in our community, letting you know who they are first before they become household names, which we know they soon will be. Today with me is not a Jack, but a Jill of all trades. She does it all. She's an author, an actress, a teacher in so many ways to her community. I would like to say activist. She'll say no, but I'm going to say it anyway. Her impact is, you can't measure it. You can try, but you can't. She's one of those people that you always say, hey, I wish I had a teacher like that, because she's so cool, calm, collective, and she does it with ease and style. Her beautiful self. Please welcome my friend, Miss Karol. Hello.
Hello there.
How was the intro?
Beautiful.
All right, good.
I didn't recognize myself.
There you go. Welcome. Thank you for taking time out your busy schedule to sit with me. And it's like you feel like someone I've known for years.
Well, that's wonderful. That makes me feel good. I'm very comfortable sitting here with you and happy to share all about what I do.
Yeah, Miss Karol. So let's rewind to the early years. So are you a Washington native?
No, I'm not.
What?
Nope.
What?
I am Ohioan.
Okay.
Dayton, Ohio.
Okay.
Where you might remember the Ohio Players.
Okay, yeah.
Not to mention the Wright brothers.
Oh, look at you, just throwing out names.
And Paul Lawrence Dunbar home.
Okay.
Yes, that's where I'm from. My husband and I moved out here to Seattle, and we brought our children out in '87.
Okay.
But I recently went back in 2015 to Dayton. And returned here just this last August.
Oh.
Here to stay.
Welcome
this is
back.
Back home.
Yes. This is home.
Yes.
Also, Ohio, was that the OJs as well?
No.
No? Where were the OJs at?
I don't remember.
I thought they were.
No, but I would have claimed if they were there, though.
Okay. Yeah. All that talent. Well, you guys got LeBron.
Yes, got LeBron, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sure, you probably know some of his people without even knowing that you know some of his people.
Well, he's up in Cleveland area. Dayton was down near Cincinnati, between Cincinnati and Columbus.
Okay, how many hours difference is that?
3 hours.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. But you never know.
Yeah, you never know. So what brought you back to Washington?
I love Washington State. I went back. My husband and I went back. Ended up caring for my mother, who lived to be 101. Yes, almost 102, just 2 months short. I was planning on retiring there, and I did. I worked here at the VA hospital for 30 years. The last 3 was working from home in Ohio. Okay. And, things changed in my life. I'm now a single woman, and my family, my children are here. Yeah. And I said, I'm going back home.
Okay.
I want to help raise my grandchildren.
Yes. And we're happy you came back home.
I am too. I feel good.
And I know you said single woman. I'm going to get so many messages like, oh, she's single. She's single? What's up? Yeah. That's awesome. So, Miss Writer, author, entrepreneur, actress. When did you start writing? Was this something that you picked up later in life when you had your kids raised and you just kind of got into those years where you're like, you know what, I need to do more for myself? Or was this like a passion you always had and you just kind of developed it over some time?
No, actually, it wasn't a passion for me.
Really?
I actually come from a family of writers. My sister's a writer, my mother's a writer, but I didn't have a passion to write until... So while I was working at the VA hospital, I started being involved in Toastmasters International, the speaking clubs, and learned about storytelling. And then I was also involved with putting together programs like for Black History Month, Women's History Month. And one year I was watching Cicely Tyson play Harriet Tubman.
Yeah.
And I said, she had a parable in there that I said, I need to find that. So I started researching Harriet Tubman. And when I started researching her, I just found out there was so much that I didn't know about her and that I'm sure other people didn't.
Right.
So I decided to put together a storytelling presentation for Toastmasters. And that just developed into programs and traveling all over Washington State with my husband, where I portrayed the 92-year-old Harriet Tubman.
Okay.
And tell her stories. But after doing that, and after all the research I had done on her, I just felt like I had a different understanding of who she was that I wasn't getting in the books.
Right.
That's when I decided to write a book about her. And that was self-published in 2013.
And what was the name of that book?
I have a copy of it here to show you.
Look at that.
Oh, yeah, I'm prepared.
Yes.
30 Lessons
in
Love, Leadership, and Legacy from Harriet Tubman.
Okay, well, while we're at it, let's talk about some of these lessons. Lessons of love.
Powerful lessons. Love, Leadership, and Legacy.
Okay.
Harriet Tubman, people know about her as far as escaping slavery on the Underground Railroad and going back. We grew up hearing 300 people she rescued in 18, 19 trips. That's been changed, brought down a little bit to 70 people, 13 trips. Still quite a feat, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I understand is, what would it take, this third generation little girl, born a slave, no education, no way of getting any secure living in the situation where she was, to really actually believe that she could do what she did, rescue herself and then go back for other people. And so I say it had to be love. Yeah. She had to have that self-love first. Yeah. And that love led to compassion and led to her being courageous, trusting, having faith. And that's how she became a servant leader.
Yeah.
And left a legacy of leadership.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I like how you said love. You really have to have a certain sense of love and compassion for others to know what you're doing. You know, she was pretty much risking her life, putting her life on the line to help others save their own lives. And for you to be able to do something like that, it takes a lot of courage, a lot of strength, a ton of faith.
Yes.
And just knowing that she's doing this, she wasn't expecting, all right, if I do this, I'm going to get $1 million and this. She did it because she most likely felt that was her calling.
Yes.
And so now if you say down to 70, you know, they always try and water down our stories. So I'm going to say we'll raise it back up to like 150, 200, you know, even more. But yeah, that is amazing. And what compelled you to want to write about Harriet Tubman out of all of our heroes and heroines that don't receive the proper credit that they deserve? Because, you know, in school, better than me, I know you're just a few years older than me, but I know in school you might get, okay, Martin Luther King had a dream, Malcolm X by any means necessary. You'll just get these quotes, oh, Harriet Tubman, you know, helped slaves, and that's it. What made you say, you know what, I want to write something in depth about her and find out more for yourself about the journey of just being who she was at that time and also being a black woman at that time?
Once I started researching her, I went deep. You know, just about every biography about Harriet I could find.
Yeah.
Fortunately, she was interviewed in her later years, and they were actually autobiographies. Somebody wrote it for her, but she dictated it. Mm-hmm. And to learn so much about her that general public doesn't know is just made me feel like she deserved to have all of her story shared. And just give you some examples. First, she lived to be 93 years old. Most people don't know that. Jeez. She was a nurse, a scout, and a spy in the Civil War.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Right.
Look at that.
Yeah, she moved her people up to Canada when they passed the fugitive slave law. So they weren't safe in this country anymore. So she traveled people all the way up through New York to Ontario, Canada. And there she took care of people. You know, that's quite a different climate
right.
to be there. And they really struggled first years, you know, not having food available. So she did what she did, and she continued to work to take care of people. She was able to purchase property, a house in Auburn, New York. And there she eventually opened up her home to other people, a homeless shelter.
Okay.
So she took care of people who didn't have any place else to go. She purchased another 25 acres next to her place, where she established a home for elderly black people that didn't have any place to go after they were slaves. That's where she ended up. All of her life ended up there. Some other things, she would have been with John Brown at Harper's. It was at Harper's Ferry, but she was sick. Frederick Douglass had brought him to her home in Canada and introduced them, and they were great friends after that. Harriet Tubman sat in rooms full of educated white men and educated them about what slavery was really like in the South. You know, she had attorneys, lawyers, doctors, newspaper men, and she sat among them, and they listened to her and she listened to them. And so she was very well informed on the politics of the day. She was a public speaker. She was on the circuit. They went around to different homes and venues to talk about why it was important to end slavery. So all this stuff that people didn't realize about her, I wanted to share. And so that's why I presented her at the end of her life, so I can reflect on all of it.
Oh, that's pretty smart. Look at you. Now, you mentioned John Brown. Is there any relation?
No.
Okay. I thought you were going to give us and that happens to be my great cousin. I was like, what? That was awesome. Look at you. So you wrote 2 books on her or 1?
Yeah, this is the second book.
Okay.
It started out, this one actually started out as a revision of the first one. But it changed along the way as I've changed. Things that I've gone through and circumstances in my life, this ended up being an inspirational guide for self-love, empowerment, and legendary leadership for girls.
Yes.
Girls of all ages. Because I realized as I was older, found myself ending up a marriage that had been a relationship over 50 years, and I had to determine to myself, what's going on here? What are you taking care of yourself? Are you finding your joy in life? And those were things that I wanted to make sure that our girls, who really have a lot of obstacles against them believing in themselves. You know, they don't necessarily see themselves on the TV or on social media being lifted up as beautiful queens with all the respect and honor that they deserve. And so this book, both books are actually curriculums. They're written as a curriculum. I share the story, but I also share a quote from some famous person and some prompts for discussion of the topic for that particular chapter.
Yeah. Now, going back to that, I have a question for you. Let me just pick your brain. How important do you think it is for elders to be role models for young ladies today? I know there was more of a sense of community, 40, 50 years ago, even 20 years ago. How important with today's climate in the world do you feel that it is for our elders to reach out to some of these young ladies who might not have that mentor at home that could help their life a great deal?
I'm glad you asked that, because that is my primary vision, is to bring my generation and connect with the younger girls, our granddaughters, and their mothers who need to have the wisdom of their mothers and grandmothers. We are the last link to that history, to that neighborhood feel, to that community, to that village. And so we need to give them the information that we have just gained through life. It's very important. And so what I'm working on now is bringing older women as I'm training them to use this curriculum in the book to take to their community, take to the girls in their church, in their homes, in their libraries, wherever they may meet, and help them discover themselves through going to learning more about Harriet Tubman and other women.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's important.
Yes.
I think you can learn a lot about yourself and someone else's story as well.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of see some pitfalls maybe that you can avoid. You know, when someone else bumped their head, you can say, okay, well, I'm not going to do that, or I'm not going to go that way, or I'm going to find my own way. Sometimes you can learn just a lot from just zipping your mouth and opening up your ears, right?
That's right. That's right.
So, Miss Accomplished Actress, yes. How did you get into acting?
Well, my Harriet Tubman portrayal. So I'm elderly Harriet Tubman when I do it.
Okay.
And I'm her from the time I come out on stage until I'm out of character. Mm-hmm. I used to take questions out of character. I take questions in character and out of question.
Yeah.
A pandemic gift was to be able to work with a team of very talented videographers and put together all my stories. And it was made into a movie. And actually, I'm going to make that movie available pretty soon as an offer for the community, for the wider community, to be able to watch and understand more about Harriet Tubman and the many stories that I have to share about her. So, yeah, that's going to be something that is 4 parts. I was fortunate to share it in full version at a theater back in Ohio and Dayton. But for a classroom setting, it's easier to make it in a 4-part series. Yeah. So it's from, I have 2 young teenagers sitting with me asking Harriet Tubman questions as if they were transported back in time and actually were sitting and meeting Harriet Tubman.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Mm-hmm. That is a really cool idea. Were you nervous playing someone so iconic, or were you just like more excited because this is something that you wanted to put out to the public with all the information that you were able to uncover? Or were you nervous yet excited, or you were like, I got this? Well,
about the time that I was able to record all of them, I've been doing them for 20 years.
Yeah.
So, and knowing that it could be edited.
Yeah.
But one reason for a long time, I call myself a storyteller, not an actress. You know, some people say you're an actress, you're portraying, you're Harriet Tubman when you're on stage. Because in storytelling, it's not a static script. When I'm in front of this school or this church or whatever the audience is, the stories may evolve a little bit. And so I like that title of being a storyteller. But being that I do come in full costume, portray her, there's some acting there. And so to be able to give people a sense of actually sitting and talking to Harriet Tubman, it just thrills me, because the questions I get at the end are very thoughtful, and I've stimulated some discovery in those minds of who she was and what they didn't know about her. So it's a joy. It's a joy.
Yeah, I knew a lot of storytellers, but they weren't They were just liars. That's why they were so good at telling their stories. People in the neighborhood, it's like, come on, man, stop. But I'm glad you're an honest storyteller. We need more of that. I'm serious. Everybody knows somebody like that.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, come on, man. Like, really, put it to some good. Write a book or something. So you were also a artist? Teacher?
Teaching artist.
Yeah.
Teaching artist. Yeah. I actually got trained here in Seattle at the Children's Art School before I left and went back to Ohio to be a teaching artist. The teaching artists are people like me or other variety of different types of artists, musicians, graphic arts, visual arts.
Yeah.
To actually go into the classroom and share what we do or align what we do with different subjects. So mine's with drama or reading or history. And so I had the fortunate time to go into a classroom and have the children, fourth and fifth grade, they would be with this book. Each one got a copy of their own book. And each time I come, we go through a different chapter, and there was a group of children prepared to teach back what they learned.
Yeah.
And so with that, they're getting communication skills. They're getting collaboration skills, working as a team. They are learning history. And so it's really exciting way to learn, and I enjoy that.
Yeah. I also, if I didn't know you, I would think that you were like a guidance counselor or something, because you just have a demeanor where you're very open and you seem like someone people would just want to tell you their life story and just open up to you or just get a hug from you, So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Well, actually, my background is as a dietitian.
Okay.
So I was counseling. I've been counseling all my life.
What haven't you done? Dietitian? You've lived a life of like a 200-year-old.
Almost.
Dietitian, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I did at the VA hospital here for 30 years. Last part of it was as the coordinator for the weight loss program called the MOVE program.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so I have been talking to people for a long time, and I've always had I always wanted to help them help themselves. When you come to a counselor, they don't really have all the answers.
Yeah.
We're trying to bring it out of you. We're trying to help you look inside and think about, oh, okay, yeah, this is something I really don't want in my life. So how can I make the changes necessary to get the results you do want? And that's part of what I teach in these classes, because just realizing, first of all, that it starts inside, that all that you want in life, it starts inside. And once our girls understand that their joy, their beauty, their success is all from the heart, and how to use that, how to develop it, and live the life they want to have.
Yeah. How do you stay so young?
I stay busy.
Busy? Yeah. Yeah. Make sure you get rest, though. You got to preserve that energy.
Yes, thank you. Wow.
You really enjoy what you're doing, I can tell. So what do you have next on your plate, Miss Karol? You're Auntie Karol now, so what do you have on your plate? What's going on in the next couple weeks, months, anything? You want to tell the good folks at home who are watching you all the way to Ohio?
Share you one more book.
Oh, come on. Whatever you got, go. Now, you're at home.
I am proud to be one of the 30 authors in this book, Live, Love, and Prosper. And we're from Authors Who Care. And the reason we're Authors Who Care is because the proceeds from this book are going to local charities. So I have been in touch with Mary's Place here in Seattle.
Yeah.
And Why We, the organization that mentors girls. And so I'll be sharing a little bit later ways that people in the community can purchase the book and help support those organizations. Now, I'm not talking about $2 or $3 going to this book. This book sells for $20. $5 is the cost of printing the book. $15 goes to the organization.
Yeah.
So that's is something that I'm very proud to be a part of. It's not my idea, but I'm proud to be one of the 30 authors that are part of this project.
What kind of stories are in there?
Good question.
Mm-hmm.
These are the stories of us overcoming our diverse triumph, our difficulties in life.
Yeah.
My story, as I sort of share, was being in a relationship for over 40-something years that ended up developing into a not so pleasant situation of personal safety, and about to lose my joy in life, and discovering I needed to make the choice to separate and live my best life. And how just after that, it wasn't until after that I was able to write the second book. And I also, some people may be familiar with Lisa Nichols, who is an outstanding transformational speaker. Most of these people in this book were in my cohort as we all went to be trained as transformational speakers from Lisa Nichols. Only after I left that situation was I able to go on and continue finding ways to give back to the world. Yeah. So I do have something coming up March 10th.
March 10th?
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell me, tell them.
Oh, okay. March 10th is Harriet Tubman Day. Some states back in Maryland, where she was born, and other states in the back east celebrate Harriet Tubman Day. I discovered that in 1990 that George Bush actually did sign a little declaration of Harriet Tubman Day, the first President George Bush. And so I am having a webinar, which is having the opportunity to find out more about this book, the Harriet Tubman Way. And so I have been meeting with some remarkable women since October, and we've been going through the chapter to chapter, talking about the book, how we could share it in our own communities. And so on March 10th, which is a Sunday, 3 p.m. Pacific time, that's 6 p.m. Eastern time, we will give little highlights of how these women could teach each chapter that they select in the book. So there's about 10 women. Each have a little brief time, but they're going to, in their own creative ways, show you what you can learn from this book and how they can learn from this book. And I just want to quickly give you just one little sample of how this book works, if I may.
Of course.
Chapter 1 is Love Yourself First. And I quote Queen Latifah. When I was around 18, I looked in the mirror and said, "You're either going to love yourself or hate yourself." And I decided to love myself, and that changed a lot of things. So that's just giving you an idea of the type of encouragement that we want to give our girls, again, of all ages, to know that self-love is important in your life, and we want to help you learn how to realize all the potential you have inside once you discover your self-love. So that's March 10th. It's a Sunday. You can find out more about it on my website, which is my name, which is KarolV, like Vanessa, Brown.com.
Look at that. I feel like I should be paying you for all this information you've given, but thank you. And that's awesome. I know the event's going to be incredible. So March 10th.
Yes.
And you said at 3 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I remember. I got a good memory.
Yes.
I don't have a lot of money, but I have a good memory. Yeah.
That's worth a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, thank you. March 10th. Yeah. I hope everyone, goes on and tell a friend, because if we're not telling our own stories, we can't expect others to. We have to do the work ourselves, and it starts at home. So support any way you can, and if you can't watch, let someone else know so they can watch, and just spread the word, and log on to karolvbrown.com. That's Karol with a K, V is in Vanessa, Brown.com.
That's correct.
All right, I got it?
You got it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So, Karol Brown, I thank you so much for everything you shared. We can go on for like a few hours, but this has been really informative, and I encourage everyone to go out there and get all of your books, and also the book you were speaking about, the one, the Prosperity, I don't want to get the title wrong. Yes. Man, that right there, when you said $20, I'm like, that's nothing, because I think we can all admit there's been times we've spent more than $20 on something that we don't even remember, or we're like, why did I do that? That's something that you can keep for years and years and years, no matter how old you are, and you can learn something from any of those stories and those beautiful people in there. So, Miss Karol, thank you for all of your work and your efforts, and keep going, please. And you keep making us look like we got to step our game up as young as you over there looking. And I'm going to screen any of the calls I get asking, what's up with her? She, listen, guys, come on, calm down. She's an accomplished woman. You better come correct or don't come at all. She ain't in life to be playing no games, man. She didn't get this far by playing games. Beautiful person with a beautiful spirit. So thank you so much, Auntie Karol. And I appreciate you stopping by, and any way I can support, let me know. We got you.
Thank you so much.
Stay connected, right?
Stay connected.
Yes, I like how you said that, too.
Yes.
Can you say it one more time?
Stay connected.
Yes, you guys hear that? She knows what's up, and you should know what's up. And like I always say, it's important to take care of others, but please make sure you take time to take care of yourself. Until next time, stay connected. Peace.